And welcome to the Inglorious Bards. I am your treacherous Game Master Tom, and this is Adventure 39 with Chris nodding when I said treacherous. So good to have you join us. We have been traveling through the desert kingdom of Thave, inside of tombs and crazy deserts and crazy plots and schemes and who knows what. And the heroes are nearing greater and greater danger that we are excited to see what happens with them next. In our last adventure, a little sneak peek before our true introduction from Jeremy, we had a loss of Geggy, and in Geggy's stead, Alkanet, the horrific ancient blood witch of centuries past, took over Geggy's form and transformed herself as an alive blood witch, bounded to the heroes. So we've lost a pixie, we've gained a blood witch, although not quite under her own free will. Thanks, great. We're excited to see what happens there. I'm excited to see what happens there. The heroes are outside the city. We just got done leveling up and buying some new equipment. We'll get into that in just a little bit. I think that's about all we need to get into for now, as we're going to pick up and get a recap. And I have a feeling that this is going to be the best adventure yet. So, without further ado, let's get a recap of what happened in more detail from Jeremy.
We went face to face with Alkanet. Finally, after defeating her forgotten witches and her skeletal mages, when it finally came time to encounter each other, we were sucked up towards her sarcophagus, and in her words, pulled into her web, as she had not been resting but had been waiting for us, and had been waiting for this moment to finally taste the blood of her enemies and find her own way out. When the attack started, it was a brutal scene right off the bat. Before he could even take a move, Geggy was struck dead. Just almost instantly. We were in shock of how fast it happened. Galen fell several times, was brought back to life by some life shots of Hemlock. Jericho did everything in his power to keep everyone alive and going, while Yannick absorbed as many shots as possible. Zaldor just tried to mitigate as much damage in any way that he could, mostly just by running around. It happened, though. With a fatal shot from Hemlock, we were able to defeat Alkanet and destroy her spectral form, or at least so we thought. At the point of her destruction, Geggy's body transformed, and she absorbed herself into Geggy's form, literally transforming it into what is now the physical form of Alkanet, who is, by whatever magic happened, bound to us and forced to do our will. She did indicate with a direct quote, "Before my time is done, I will exact vengeance on those that betrayed me and also on you." So that's coming. But until then, she's working with us. Per our request, she bit her own lip and kissed the back of the neck of each of us, providing us with the Veil of Blood, which is the entire reason we came here. If everyone recalls, several episodes ago, this was the goal, was to finally have the protection of the blood of the Jagged Witch. Galen wasn't satisfied, however, and felt it to be prudent and safe in his world if he also pulled a vial of her blood and pulled a knife on her, threatening to cut her wrist so that he could have that blood for protection. The rest of the party jumped in to save him from himself and his ideas, because if he had attacked her, we all believe we would have lost 2 party members that day, and we weren't ready for that. In her own way, Alkanet was helpful and got us out of the tomb in a much easier fashion than the way that we got in. And we started our way to Kaseer. She brought along her pet, some floating head that she gets to speak to once in a while. It's unnerving and it's veiled, and we'll have to deal with that probably in its own time. But we finally rested. All of the wounds and effects and dazes and stupefies and conditions that we had been collecting like Pokemon finally started falling off of us to get ourselves back up to a full health. When we made our way to the outer edges of Kaseer, there is a large tent city that's outside this great wall that seems impregnable. We're going to have a hard time getting through it. But there was a whole bunch of villagers and traders and merchants, it seems, in a small tent market outside. As we're working our way through the tent market, we start noticing a funny buzzing feel inside all of our armors. Most of us, at least. Yannick spotted it first and recognized that the mire pins that we were given by Callian Varro way back in Tabernary were starting to activate and go off. We followed their kind of coordinates that they gave us, that they vibrated stronger if we pointed in one direction than towards another, and located a tent that had a portal inside of it, interestingly enough. It was kind of an empty tent with the exception of the portal that was there. And when we went in, we found ourselves in an area that was devoid of magic. All magic was unable to work here. But it was an amazing marketplace. It was an emporium of items that we could buy, and it was curated by a guy called Meyer, who welcomed us, brought us in, and gave us some tea, found out some news, and served lemonade. Jericho was very pleased for that. After having a pleasant conversation, he then indicated that he would be able to sell us some items and bring some things in. Hemlock picked up an emerald that we found in Alkanet's tomb that we assumed was about 3,000 gold pieces worth. So we were hoping we could get some pretty good shopping in. Well, when Meyer took a look at it, it turns out it was worth over 20,000 pieces of gold. So we were now wealthier than we had been in our entire lives and went on a shopping spree. And that, believe it or not, is where we left off. So Alkanet defeated the heroes, ready to level up and going on a shopping trip. From there, let the adventure begin.
Our heroes are wrapping up their shopping within Meyer's Magic Emporium, and let's step out of character for a little bit and get a description briefly of some of the items and goodies that you walked away with. Let's start with Hemlock, our fetchling gunslinger.
Ooh, so Hemlock is not only the keeper of Thunderbolt and Lightning, but also now the keeper of Galileo and Figaro. He has 4 pistols all attached to his fancy bandolier that does some cool stuff. So yeah, it'll be a few rounds before he has to reload.
All right.
Very, very frightening.
Yes.
We have Jericho, our gnome bard. What did you pick up?
So I got a couple of things that were super, super handy. I got a ring, and that helps my diplomacy, which is one of my key skills that I use. And I got a horn of blasting, which does 2 things. Rather than being a ukulele player, I am taking up what was my favorite tune that I played when I used to tromp around out in the forest when I was young, which I was much more of a horn player, so it's nice to get a magical one. But it boosts my performance, which is my other primary skill that I use. But also, I can blow it extra hard and hurt some of the bad guys with it. I got a little ring I can flip when things don't go my way, and I got a 50-50 shot of things going my way. That's kind of what I got right there.
All right, nice. We have Yannick, our human champion. What did you pick up?
So Yannick has committed to the Fishard life and picked up a couple potency rune +2 and a frost and a fire rune for that Fishard. And then he has also picked up a couple charm of resistance of 10 against electricity, a gliding runes for his armor, so he can glide down indefinitely using an action, and some armbands of athleticism. And I think that was pretty close to it.
With the Fashard life, which makes me imagine in his simple apartment, he has a basic sign on the back wall that says live, laugh, and reactive strike.
It's a short life for us.
All right. We had Galen, our human thaumaturge, a supernatural swordsman.
Galen is tired of falling. He's tired of falling. And so he took some things that hopefully will make it not hurt quite so much. So Galen can now glide as long as he has the actions to spend on it. And he can also jump. So he took these blast feet, these dwarven contraptions that go on the boots and allows him to jump, but also allows him to blast out a cone of damage every once in a while. Other than that, the thing that Galen's really excited about is he can now strike from distance. He has a extending rune on his weapon, which means instead of having to face tank everything, which really isn't his forte, he can strike from up to 60 feet away. So it gives him a little more range.
All right. Great. And last and certainly not least is Zaldor, who got a few items, I believe.
Yes, well, Zaldor is not one for bragging about all the shopping, but since you asked, there's a couple of things that Zaldor picked up. One of them, not the least of which, is the Staff of Elemental... Staff of Elemental... It's a staff of... It's an elemental staff.
Power?
Elemental
Power,
grumbling.
yes. There's gears everywhere. I have 14 pages of items and spells. One must be patient with old Zaldor. There was
5
also...
seconds worth of patience.
Yes, in addition to the Staff of Power, by the way, casts Wall of Fire, can cast Fireball, can cast all sorts of Frost and Raisin. It just adds some good old spells for Zaldor.
How about the short version?
There's also a couple of rings, one that lets me walk through fire and jump to another place. There is extra spells for the wizard, and I have resistances up to Huazu, so that I may be defensive from being hit of things. There's a wand of mental purification to heal people as well if needed. But mostly I want to talk about my staff, if I can.
Sure.
I can also cast Fireball many times. Once per day, in fact. But that feels like many times when you think about it. And if I could do 2 elemental spells at level 2s, are you listening, Yannick? I could also cast 2 of them. That would be like Horizon Thunder Spheres, perhaps, or a Blazing Bolt. I could do that one. I'm excited.
This is the short version?
Yes.
Hey,
you asked for the short
Jericho would like to request if you cast Fireball twice per day, that at least one of them not be centered on me.
I feel like that's unreasonable, but I'll try.
I appreciate that.
All right. And that's a staff. Staffs can store charges equal to the highest level of spell, which for you is 4. So we can store 4 charges. So as he said, he can cast essentially 4 levels worth of spells. So 4 level 1s, 1 level 4 combo. There's also a couple wands that are out there as well.
Yes. I have one that I've been hanging on to for a while. My Wand of Crushing Leaps. It is a wand that allows me to leap 60 feet through the air, and once I do, when I land, I create difficult terrain all around me. I didn't used to do that. I used to have this as a leaping one before, but now I can also alter land once in a while. That's been a new thing since I've been to Thave. And I do have a Wand of Mental Purification as well, which casts Soothe. It's a 4th level Soothe spell, allowing me some massive healing.
And for everyone to know, with the wands, you can cast a wand spell once per day. You can then overcharge it, casting it a second time, guaranteed, and then you have a 50-50 chance to either break the wand, needing magic people to spend time and energy and gold to repair it, or it's just completely obliterated. And it's generally only used in an emergency of emergencies, but it is available. All right. Someone who did not get any items was Alkanet. an crazy old crone blood witch, not even from this time period, played by Christopher. But what you do get is 1 evil point to be used as a hero point to your desire, and you gain 2 blood points. These blood points can be used only if you are not at maximum health. You can spend at most once per turn, and they give you 1 additional action to take during that turn.
Ooh.
Wow.
All to help the group.
I'm so glad you're on our team.
So am I.
I think that is it. So, our heroes, you are inside Myers Magic Emporium, this otherworldly dimension. You have just finished shopping. You're just loaded up with goods, heading out towards the door. Meyer is there at this big brass, shiny, well-oiled door, and he says, well, thank you for coming, my friends. I hope everything is to your liking.
Is there a way we can find you in the future? Is there a way we can contact you instead of you contacting us?
No.
Oh, why not?
That is not how these work. And he points gently at your chest where your Meyer pin is at.
Very well.
We thank you for your commerce.
May it all serve you well. And he opens up the door, and I don't know, gives you each a mint on the way out or something. He's very hotel oriented customer service.
Guys, I miss my very best friend Dash, but this place might have been a bit much of a temptation for him.
Quite true.
He would have had to certainly resist.
Would have
Maybe
been
see
fighting
what
that
those
golem
golems
is what
do.
you would
I just picture he would have come out with either a lot of trouble or very full cheeks.
You guys step through that door, and there's this gray, hazy portal-like effect beyond it. Stepping through it, you almost instantly, say Yannick first, run into a flap of a tent that you push by, and now instead of coming out of any structure, you're coming out of a low tent outside the great city of Kaseer. The group slowly comes out, and I'll say not Jericho notices. We'll have
I don't know
Hemlock.
anything.
Hemlock, you notice that as you guys come out, you're checking in on each other, trying to make some plans on what's going to go on, and making sure you still have Alcanet with you. You notice there are some people that are kind of casting strange glances over at the little gnome's direction, out in this little tent city outside the main city.
That is a great city.
Hey, Jericho.
Hey, buddy.
You have anything like, you have a hood or anything you can, like, think you're attracting some attention?
Is it Alcanet?
Nope. Do you have just a hood you can, like, maybe something you can, just disguise yourself with a little bit? It's some of the town folk. Some of these see over my shoulder. Don't look too close, but
I'll try to side eye who he indicates is looking at me.
You
Don't look. Huh?
that one? You see a lady who is selling some silk, rolls of silk, and she's just a merchant and just looking at you with a unpleasant raised eyebrow. You see some boy who's carrying around a bucket of 2 buckets of water over his shoulder, also stops and looks at you and then starts whispering to someone else as well.
I don't know them.
well, they seem to know you, and I don't think that's going to be a good thing for
I've never been
any
to
of
this town
us.
before.
Yep. You just put a hood on, or anything? Got anything that can disguise you a little? Or just be a little less conspicuous?
Be less fey.
Says loudly.
I'll be
Less
less
what?
fey if you be less religious.
If my religion were attracting as much attention as your faintness currently is, we
There's
could
a
talk about
shopkeeper
it.
and a boy.
Bullshit.
There's
I didn't
one-
say we would do it. I said we could talk
Got
about
his
it.
Carahel yarmulke still on.
There's one shopkeeper and one little boy kind of looking at me. Maybe they found me attractive.
Is this your first day here in Thave? To realize that they don't like the Fae very much?
I'm a gnome. I'm not a pixie. I've been all throughout Faith. I haven't gotten this kind of attention anywhere else we've been.
Jericho, put a fucking hood on before you get us killed.
I don't know what that kind of hood is, and I don't have one. Do you have a hood of my size?
What is our next step? Are we headed to the gentleman who has the trade agreement? Are we going to try to enter the city that way?
Unless you have another way.
Or Alcanet does. That would
If
be
we-
safe for us.
If we make haste,
Through the gates. It's the only way you're going in.
if we make haste, then I might be able to help here. Galen rummages in his shoulder bag and pulls out a little slip of paper. And for the first time, he does something that you aren't familiar with, which is cast a little spell. I can disguise us as travelers for about an hour, but we would need to be through the gates in that time. Canet, do you think that is reasonable?
I'm not familiar with today's bureaucracy. Could take days to go through the day.
Let's approach the gate and see if there's a line.
Oh, hang on just a second. Zaldor reaches into his pouch and pulls out a cloak with a hood. It's small, it is more of a rustic flavor, and it's woven, and it is your size, Jericho. So
I'll put it right on.
will fit right on you. There's a sash with it as well that goes with it, because Zaldor's a prescient planner, and when we were in Sarvid, Zaldor was able to use his prescient planner skill to get the things that he would need approximately for situations just like this.
Circumstance. All right.
So you have what you're looking for.
Galen maintains eye contact with Zaldor while slowly tucking his scrap of paper back into his bag.
I think making us all look like travelers is a brilliant, wonderful idea, and I'm just helping with his garments.
I'll try.
Flourish!
I'll try and work on my halfling accent.
Okay.
Yow? Yow? That's how they say it. Yow?
It is not how
I reckon.
I reckon. Y'all?
We have one
Fave
other
bumpkins.
slight issue here, and that's none of us speak Veriv.
Oh, I've picked up a thing or two.
Are we level 8?
You are level 8.
Okay. Just
Woo!
wanted
Thank you, Myers.
Only because of Myers' Magic Emporium.
Okay.
No sleep necessary.
It turns out that when you work with Myers, he has a variety of different books, and he was able to give me one that I was able to, it's the best way to put it, is absorb all sorts of knowledge. One of them, in fact, was Veriv, the language of Fave. I can read it as though I were a native.
Convenient.
Not a native. But it's, yes, helpful. Would have been
Quite
great.
useful.
We're reading signs before. That one says exit. That one says restroom.
Oh,
That one over there says
I need to go over to
Those
that
are the
one.
only two signs I need.
Should my heart be racing realizing that Zaldor now speaks for the party?
It is troubling, to be sure.
I don't say I speak for the party as much as I can speak on behalf of the party. It's different. It's context. It's important.
Semantics.
To the gate.
Yeah.
All right.
To the back gates!
Our view races over the dunes, and Kaseer appears on the horizon, an imposing city of gray stone, its colossal walls stretching high into the sky, looming like a fortress of ancient times. The walls, worn smooth by countless years of desert winds, are stained red with the fine grit of sand that endlessly blows across them. Jagged banners of crimson and black flutter in the breeze, bearing the sigil of the Ashen Queen, their edges tattered. The gates, massive iron-bound slabs reinforced with intricate blood-red runes, stand half open, creating a narrow passage into the city. Here, the flow of humanity bottlenecks into a chaotic crush of bodies, their combined murmurs forming a low, constant drone. Merchants with caravans of exotic wares jostle with bedraggled pilgrims seeking refuge, their heads bowed in reverence. Desert nomads, their faces veiled against the dust, argue in sharp tones with guards clad in dark armor, their crimson sashes marking them as enforcers of the Blood Witch's will. A scent of sweat beasts and desperation hangs heavy in the air. The guards, their eyes sharp beneath their helms, scrutinize each person who approaches, demanding blood oaths and scrutinizing travel permits. Behind them, a towering obsidian obelisk rises, etched with glowing crimson sigils that pulse faintly with life, casting an eerie light over the throng. A strong wind briefly washes sand over the people at the gate, and within those swirling sands, a distant toll of a ceremonial bell rings out from the heart of the city, a somber reminder of Kaseer's relentless, unforgiving faith. As you join the end of this mass of 100 people, you see a guard at the front finally get the process moving again. He steps forward, raises a gauntleted hand to the first person in the line way ahead. His voice, unwavering, cuts through the din. "State your purpose and swear the blood oath, or turn back to the sands." And so begins this very slow progression, as even you see another cart and wagon coming up behind you guys to join the line behind you.
What's the blood oath being given?
You can't tell or see from here.
So what's what and whom is our plan when we get up to the guard up there? We have the paper that we got from the merchant. Is that the one that we're using? Yes.
Zaldor, you're the only one who can speak Verev, so perhaps you should be the merchant and we your guards, hired labor.
The other option is I be the merchant, you be my translator.
Yes, let's do that. I would prefer not to have to come up with my own words.
What does that writ say? It may speak specifically of...
We haven't read it up until now.
I will take
Zaldor,
it.
here.
Zaldor takes the writ of passage that was purloined by Galen, Hemlock, and Jericho back in
Great
Servie.
word use.
And what does it say?
It's... I just had it open.
Holy smokes, that's exactly what I was picturing.
The one
That's a
we
great
stole
picture.
from Willik.
From whom?
Willik, I believe.
Not Meladine.
Willik.
Not
No.
Meladine.
There's
Some
it.
random guy in a
There it
tent.
is. I got it. Right. It is a trading writ that it essentially says merchant allowed to enter city with a name field that is specifically obscured and hard to read.
Love that.
Okay,
Yes, it's written really fast and it's smudged.
perfect. In that case, Jericho, if you will take the lead, I will be at your shoulder, slightly behind, and I will speak on your behalf. This does look like it says that we have trade here. It doesn't have a particular name for it, at least not one that's exceptionally legible.
Do you think the guards are going to have any issue with a gnome attempting to enter for trade?
Not if we rush the process. I will work as his liaison, and he will, of course, have a bodyguard behind him, and the rest of us looking traderly rather than mercenarial.
Mercurial. Wait,
I got it right. Not looking bad or
Mercenary like.
The line slowly progresses.
Alkanet, how identifiable are you?
No one here save the oldest should know me.
She says with her crazy ass tattooed face
With the blood witch face.
underneath the hood.
I mean, like, how clear is it that Alkanet is a, like, full-fledged, bad-to-the-bone blood witch? Like, is it, like, pretty obvious? Or are we going to be able to get through this gate without...
Because I'm kind of thinking...
Is the average person going to go, blood witch?
Uh-huh, yeah. Are the guards going to go, oh, look there, blood witch. We don't know who.
Or if she just walks up and says, "They're with me," they're like, "Yes, please."
Yeah.
Move along, Blood Witch.
I don't know anything at all about that last part.
Can we make a society roll?
You to answer what question?
All of them. The one where if
Is Alkanet identifiable
as a blood witch.
as a Blood Witch?
By sight, by normal Fabian people in Kaseer who would know what blood witches look like.
One of you may make an occult roll, 29.
That's a good question that Galen, I think, is
Galen,
seeking
you
an
should
answer
probably-
to, if I'm not mistaken.
I think your my plus 14 is lower than yours, right?
I have a 15.
Then go,
And I'm wondering if I think this is a straight up roll, but would the blood witches be considered a cult?
We can say yes.
Okay, so schooled in secrets comes into play. So I'm looking for the signs of how blood witches and all that are treated in this society. So using occultism instead of diplomacy to learn about this. So let's see what we get. Let's try that one more time. That'd be a 30.
With a 30.
Nice.
You believe that she will likely be recognized as a blood witch, almost guaranteed. If she shows herself, it's just a matter of whom she is recognized, a blood witch or the blood witch of the first ever.
That would be a problem.
Oh,
As we were warned by Master Brillmane that if we were identified as allies of the Jagged Witch or that we used her, that we would then be the nemesis of the Ashen Queen.
I think it's Nemesis.
Sure.
That would be plural. Instead of possessive.
It is it felt by the first queen that she would even need to be bothering with this oath to move through?
I just realized he was talking about himself.
Yeah.
Wow.
It all depends on how you want to play it. That's up to you. I don't know how you want to do it. You guys want to be surreptitious? You want to overpower? You want
I don't
to
think
play a
we
big
know
card?
either how we
You
want to
guys
do
got to
this.
figure that out.
Thank you.
I
don't we?
And the stakes are...
I don't think we can risk revealing Alkanet before we're even through the gates.
Can we convince Alkanet of that?
I think he just.
I'm right here.
So how do you feel? Is this something that
How
you're
do
happy
you
to
feel?
sneak into? Or do you get that choice? Do we get to tell you, you can't be you?
She is not your friend.
You would be able to still make those demands, but she would probably put it to you like this. It would be better to be secretive. To draw the attention of the blood god now would be too dangerous.
Yeah, I think you and I should be a little sneaky because they're looking for you more than me, but.
She inches away from you.
Exactly. You got it. You got it. Put out the fist bump and be rejected, but I'll just slow. Oh, there we go.
She
I got it.
draws up her cloak and can't do anything about the tattoos, but that's up to you guys.
Did I hear blood guard or blood god?
Yeah.
I heard Blood Guard
Alkanet.
because we're looking at him.
As you take it. Blood god sounds wonderful, though.
It's very Blade.
So as we get closer, Galen, do you want to use the disguise thing for us? so that we're disguised on our way
I'll
through?
save it.
Cannot disguise a gnome. And we know how gnomes are treated here. Having one being given a writ of trade and free passage into the city, that just doesn't sound.
I've been treated pretty well so far through the country.
You could enter the city as a prisoner being traded.
I've been treated really well the whole time through the. No one's given me crap the whole time here in Thave so far.
There's one thing I recall, and our original intent, if you recall, when we crossed over the deserts and we met with Meladine, was that you would be a slave of entertainment. And that you would have been an abusive slave, but would have drawn quite a show.
You have Yannick beat me up?
I don't think we have to, but let's keep all the cards on the table. There's no umbrellas in a
Not be
brainstorm.
too hasty.
But
There's no umbrellas in a brainstorm. I don't think I should like that, but I like that.
That came out of the You Is You. You Are You book from Rickon.
the you are. I feel that if it was ever a question of Jericho being a part of this party, rather than speaking on behalf of us, I'm afraid, we would have to use the subterfuge that you are a slave to one of us, perhaps. Hopefully. It's going to be entirely too busy of a conversation where they just want to move us through and continue on with the process.
Galen, you also notice, you believe every single person in this line in front of you and the people have now queued up behind you all have a sash that is reddish in color around them, very thin, that has marks on it that you may make a religion roll for.
That's not your happy
Not
face.
or-
Or occult.
forte.
Or occult. Yeah, you can do your occult. You can do your occult with the +2, whatever secret thing.
This is no proper religion.
26. No, sorry, 24.
24. Never mind. You're good.
Can Yannick make a religion roll?
Zaldor, what do these sashes say? All of the entrants have one, but we don't.
Zaldor will casually stretch and turn and stare right at Derek for about a good 30 seconds to start to read his chest.
You see that it is not words. It is some strange symbology dealing with their faith.
Not words.
More than words.
And everybody has them.
Yes.
I believe I could impersonate it, but it would be and who knows if we would get the symbols right.
I believe I could get a couple of them.
Why don't we just ask someone where they got them?
Why am I picturing you as Schwarzenegger in the first Conan as he approaches the temple and say, "Are these priests' robes? Come with me."
I like that. I like the 3 different ideas. I can make them. I could steal some. We could just ask where we buy them. It's probably
Everyone's got them. They got to be available somewhere.
because you got to pick them up somewhere.
Go back in the line if you back and ask.
And
I'm
clearly,
gonna look and see if I see anyone who just the cast of their clothing, their look looks like they might not be Favian, but might be someone who I could communicate with.
Okay. You see no one that
No one?
matches that.
Okay.
There are thaves everywhere.
Why
Stick
is there
with them.
weakness among you? Just take what you need.
Galen's making
these-
friends.
A few of these into a tent.
Well,
They'll never be missed.
Galen needs your blood.
Hey, Alcanet, what's up with the sashes on the people, and what are the symbols?
I haven't been here for hundreds of years. I don't know.
You don't know what these symbols represent?
She recognizes them only as numbers.
Luck's gonna peel off and go search around the tents and the.
Yeah, we should probably go look.
Just let me do it. In the shops and see, number 1, if anybody's selling these. Number 2, just peeking inside pretty quietly some tents to see if there's any that are just, there's 6 of them just lined up on a laundry line.
Okay. All right. You peel off from the group. The line is very slowly moving, so it's not a big issue. And you start moving around between some tents. You see nothing at all like this for sale. You duck into a couple tents where people are staying and you don't think are there at the moment, and may make a stealth. No, let's just make it a thievery roll, and let's do an 18 or higher. There are a few scattered throughout, and for 18 you steal one, and every 2 beyond you're able to steal another. And then after you're done, we make a stealth roll modified by how many you succeeded to get to see if you get caught.
Like an attack roll, right? So he gets like a plus 20 for this.
32.
He's got 12?
Yeah, that's quite a few. What the hell?
Everybody gets 3.
What's your stealth modifier?
My thievery is what you
sorry.
said it was, a 16.
Wow. Okay. You are able to dip in and grab a whole
I
bunch
just need
of
6
these.
of them. Just 6.
Okay.
Which is 18 plus 12. So
It's
it's
no
30.
plus 5 because the one is 18's a given. So 28.
Oh, so I thought it was plus 2 for
Plus 2
every
for each
2 that
one.
you got. Plus
Yeah.
2 for each one.
He
Okay.
just found a
18, 20,
dirty
22, 24,
laundry
26.
basket full of them.
And you only need 5.
6.
6.
I thought you said 5. Okay.
No, 6.
Okay. Great. You're able to do so. However, as you're getting the last one out, there's someone that's kind of sleeping in some locked in pose from Skyrim that you got to quickly kind of get by in and out.
Under the sashes.
Yes.
Ah.
Let's have you make a stealth roll, and it's just going to be a 21.
And there's no, you're not nerfing me at all?
No, that was a good roll.
29.
Okay, you're able to slip out with ease. You've acquired 6 sashes. 5 of them have identical markings. One of them has a larger number of 8. So it's 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, and 8.
Okay. I'll give the 8 to Jericho, and the
Okay.
rest of us will be 1.
All right.
While this is going on, since I'm in line, I would like to be actively using Soul Sight.
Soul Sight. Tell us about that new ability.
So I have a new ability that allows me to sense the spirits of creatures within range. It's like there are types of vision like dark vision or tremor sense or other ones. This I can sense the spirits of creatures, including living creatures, most non-mindless undead, and haunts within a range of 60 feet.
Okay.
So if there's anything that I would sense that doesn't have an obvious body or something that kind of seems out of place, that's kind of what I'm looking for. So,
All right.
Is there a giant black hole where Alkanet stands next to him?
so just
become static like some sort of video camera
just
thing.
Jericho is a sensitive young man, and he has endured trauma that he was not prepared for. He has faced demons and blood witches, and it has seared his sensitive soul to where now his face spirit is now seeing the spirits of the things around
Even
him.
if he doesn't want to, he's tormented.
Yes.
No, another one.
Yes, I am. I am. I see dead people.
Okay. All right. So that is constantly going on as an imprecise sense, kind of like a hearing to us. He's able to vaguely get an idea within 60 feet of something along those spirit concepts. Pretty cool. Great. While the line is slowly moving and Hemlock is making his way back, I would like Yannick to make a religion roll and Zaldor to make an arcana roll,
Oh my
please.
goodness. All right.
23 on religion.
Okay.
34?
Okay. Yannick, no new information for you. For you, Zaldor, as you're sitting there, it just finally occurs to you. You're a little absent-minded. It's my excuse giving this information. Now, it finally occurs to you that Kaseer has very strict laws against any kind of arcane magic being used and is punishable with severe beatings and death.
Oh, snap. I just remembered. I can't do anything here. Good luck!
And leaves. Yeah.
He starts unholstering his spells one by one.
Is it just can you do religious magic?
I mean, if I could do religious magic,
I'm
respectfully, of course, I would.
believe blood magic is what they would be. Only magic that I imagine that's going to be allowed.
What about
That's good to hear.
what about our equipment? What about everything on us that is magical in nature?
What if I just play a pretty song that happens to affect people?
I would suggest you not.
Whatever.
You don't know things, old man.
Will we be arrested for walking around with just these runes that we just acquired, or the wand that you just acquired, even if we don't use them?
Magical items and elements are abundant and around. However, use of items within the city walls, I believe, will create quite a stir. So will very likely cause some reactions and perhaps even identifications. So try not to. As I would also try not to, hard as it may, do any magic whatsoever.
So if we are going to do magic, we should do it out here before we enter the city.
What magic do you need to do?
We haven't
I need a magic
decided yet
pee.
entirely on how we're getting access, but if we're comfortable with the current setup, then off we go.
I feel like once we get in the walls, it's not going to be too long before our cover is blown.
I thought I was the pessimistic one.
I think everything's going to go fine.
One of the things I'd like to remind everyone is that we have successfully obtained the Veil of Blood from Alcanet. Thank you very much.
Yes, but we also have Alcanet with us. That was not expected.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I was not really. That was not on my bingo card.
She gets excited. Bingo, because she's old and
It's been 400 years!
So are we proceeding then with Jericho as the traitor and Zaldor as the...
No. Again, no. I will speak. He will be if it's even brought up, he will be a slave.
Whoa! I
one of
thought
us.
I was going to be the guy with
He'll
the
get
whip.
beat up by Yannick because they're entertainers and we're trading going in sashes.
Y'all need to agree on this.
I don't feel that's necessary. Like, what? Why does Henlock need to get a vote? I will go in. I will speak. As I
You
speak
all, Jericho and you.
You see a
Staring
dozen
down.
people coming the opposite direction, and your line slightly gets out of the way, and walking down the road the opposite direction are a dozen folks, simple nomadic types that are putting on their veils over their heads as the wind's starting to kick up a bit, and they all have blood marks over their brows and then down their nose, and they walk together and leave. You saw a similar group when you were heading to the city earlier this day.
Are they the same group of like nomad type people that had that, or is it just another group of people that had that mark when they were leaving the city?
I don't understand the difference.
So you said there was a group of nomads with like a specific cultural group of people leaving and they had that blood on them.
Correct.
And you said we saw that one other time.
Yes.
Was that the same cultural group of people, or was this just a different, like they didn't have veils and stuff and just had the blood, or is it both veils and blood?
Both.
Okay.
Would you say those markings match the ones on Alcanet and hers being permanent?
Negative.
Okay.
Good question.
Make a religion roll, Alcanet.
Yeah, I was about to ask.
Religion.
What are you on that? Like a plus 30 or so?
I don't know. 24.
Total of 24. You know exactly what it means.
What the Alcanet? What are those markings? What do those mean?
It's a tattoo.
No, not yours. Theirs.
Yeah, theirs.
Those are blood marks to show deference to the queen.
Is that what you get when you give the blood oath?
You see that is not the case because you're getting closer to the front of the line, and each person that's getting through the gate is presenting their hand to be cut by the guards.
Can I ask a really quick question? Just because we're almost to the front.
I'm glad to see the rituals have
I'll
changed.
defer to what y'all think, but a shop lady and a little kid looked at me funny. Everyone else here at Thebes treated me fine. So do you guys want me to be the merchant, or do you want me to be like a slavey person?
I vote slavey person. Keep you as hidden as possible.
I agree with Zaldor.
It does seem to be the safest route. You have, although not garnered as much attention as Gegi did, you have been focused upon when we've been in battle. You have been noticed in other situations and circumstances as being at least somewhat fey. I believe that it would make our passage more difficult.
All right, whatever you guys want.
So shut up, slave!
Don't you beat me again, Mr. Holy Man. I'm tired of the beatings. They hurt me so much.
Italian gnome.
I'm a halfling.
Mr. Holy
Still
Man.
whole Italian to
Halfling
me.
accent.
The other half is-
Pepperoni.
It's well known that halflings
I'm a halfling,
speak
a
like
half German.
half-linguini. That's where the name comes from.
Exactly where I was going with that. Yep.
You guys are approaching the front of the line. You see the last few people in front of you are stand before they step away from you, step forward to several of these guards.
Switch sashes.
Whoop. Easy. I'm going to switch my sash with you and drape it over you and pull up the other one.
And they have the people stand before them. There's about 3 or 4 daggers that are on the ground in the sand. And they have the people, they say, swear the blood oath. And the people hold out their hand. They are cut by the guards. Their blood falls onto the old blades on the ground as they say, I swear to the Ashen Queen. Each of them do. They also tell them their purpose. I am here for the pilgrimage, or I am here to do trade, returning back, and blah, blah, blah. They're giving their little excuses. Some are swapping coins with the guards as well. It's not as holy as you may think, or at least they want to come across. And the last of the people in front of you go through. At the front of the line now are our heroes with Alcanet, which is quite the visual, and maybe about 100 people now behind you as you stand before the gates of the city of Kaseer. I don't want to be in this particular scene.
Elmok is right behind Alcanet and whispers in her ear, "You try anything stupid, I will open you up again."
You have a pistol in her back.
Yeah.
You try anything stupid, I die second.
Yep.
I am just an old woman.
Let's keep it that way.
Zaldor makes his way to the front of the group.
All right. Guard says with his big gauntleted hand, "State your purpose," and motions you forward.
We're here for trade.
Alcanet is mouthing a different response.
Okay.
Zaldor reads Alcanet's
No,
lips.
you're in
over
front.
his-
She's behind.
All right. We're here to make our way through and make sure that everything is going as properly done for our trade.
This tall guard looks down underneath your
You
wizard's
had a while
hat.
to prepare for this.
I did, yeah. I wrote it down.
We've been in line for hours, and this is the best you got.
He looks under your hood and he says, You're not from Thave.
No! I am a traveling merchant from Thave. I have entertainers behind me who are working through
He
and...
backhands your hat off, smushing your hair in your hat as well.
Gotta keep the sun off. Don't want to burn.
He smacked the hair off you.
Great apologies. I apologize for not owing respects.
Not being Canadian.
I will absolutely redo the blood oath for the queen.
He says,
So
what
we can be in your
trade?
presence. We work with rugs.
I love to watch them squirm.
And he looks around.
Galen
complete lack of
grabs
rugs.
Jericho by the back of the cloak
Jericho, okay.
and kind of wrestles him in front of him and just holds him out, like stiff-armed in front of him,
All right.
in front of the guard.
These are cloaks. Rugs.
Jesus fucking Christ!
The real Alchemist!
So Jericho's head is just straight down at the ground, but he's rolling his eyes.
Okay. Make a deception roll -4, please.
Cool. I just want to make sure that everyone's aware.
That makes your roll. What?
That makes my roll that I'm going to roll right now -4. Just
And just so that we're clear, this was his idea.
That's a 13.
Okay.
You want a hero point that?
I mean, it's just I rolled a 17. It's,
So no, don't hero point that.
He grabs you by the collar and lifts you up off your feet and drags you into behind a guard shack area.
This is not what I intended. I just want to swear the blood oath.
He says to some of the other guards, no, I'm going to have fun with this one.
Galen steps forward again. He's got he's got the gnome in one hand, and with the other hand, he holds out a palm that has his last 30 gold in it, and just looks at the guard meaningfully, and then down at the gold, and then back at the guard.
The second guard comes over and looks and says, what is this? Pointing at the little creature, the hooded creature.
It's rugs.
Galen's makes the sign of handcuffs because he doesn't speak Veriv. So just
What language are the guards
prisoner.
speaking?
They're speaking Thave.
Yep.
So you're turning to Alcanet to understand what's being said? The guard then gives his response. And Thave Alcanet translates it.
Give us his response.
Get us through here.
I'm not sure if you're saying that to Alcanet.
Yeah, the guards.
He will take your 30, and he will let you pass.
with Zaldor.
He will take your 30 and let you pass.
We have little other
I
options.
hand the 30 to the guard.
He snatches the 30 and says something else at you, waiting expectantly.
And if I see you come this way again, I will hurt you.
Galen bows deeply and moves forward with Jericho through the guard.
Jericho is kicked with a booted foot and knocked to the ground, and the guard grabs you. I speak Old Fabian. The guard grabs you by the wrist and drags you towards the guardhouse, Galen.
I'll go willingly.
You are pulled over towards the several daggers laying on the ground that are blood covered in the sand and the daggers themselves, and yanks at one of your arms.
This does not seem hygienic.
I'm not resisting.
Okay.
Yeah, HIV went through wildfire like this.
He turns over your hand and puts a knife to your hand and looks you and says, "Zaldor!"
Galen nods.
Give oath to the queen?
So in Draconic, because I think that's probably the least likely language that they'll understand that Galen knows. Galen says some nonsense at him and then nods.
I don't know what he's saying.
All right. Make a religion or deception.
It's definitely going to be deception. That's a natural 20.
I want one of those.
And that was for all of us.
He listens to what you say. He then cuts your hand. You take 1 point of slashing damage to track Jericho. Alan's not tracking the 1 point of damage.
Yeah, I will.
He cuts. He drips your blood on top of the daggers, and he nods and says, he says, honor for you. In crude Draconic, hearing only part of your message, he happened to speak it and hands your 30 gold back.
Move along.
And then in Draconic, Galen replies with honor begets honor and bows and moves forward.
All right. He boots the little creature, Jericho, again, not wanting you anywhere near the Blood Oath daggers. You're like, for once. All right. And you hear some sounds of old man slapping flesh happening behind. Boy, this does not.
But it's no. I get.
Suddenly I'm
There's no
8 years old again.
No one do any kind of Ned Beatty voice, please.
What about a Ned Flanders voice?
That's pretty close.
How about a Ned Ryerson voice?
Hello, neighbor.
He's tougher than he looks. He'll be fine.
We have
But it's my
Yannick.
first time.
We have Yannick, Hemlock, and in front of the two of them is Alcanet. And emotions.
Alcanet
Gets through here.
moves forward
Then you're my property.
and moves forward.
Okay. The guard looks at you and says,
We're following closely, I believe.
Yep.
You're following as slaves should. So clustered but distant.
Mm-hmm.
excruciatingly
With
well
that
armed
energy,
slaves.
too.
You go forward. The guard says, same line as before. State your purpose here in Kaseer.
I am here to sell my goods. And maybe just a smidge of revenge. Ask your next question.
That is fantastic. He seems to take aback by this, and he pulls out a dagger and says, "Swear the blood oath to the Ashen Queen."
I swear to the queen.
Yes.
And he takes the knife to cut your hand and cuts your hand. You take 1 point of slashing damage.
I'll mark that down. You're down to 4 hit points.
Maybe. And go ahead and make a stealth roll +4 if you would like to not be revealed underneath your hood.
Can I continue with the rest of the oath to possibly just complete this and move on? I believe what's expected is that I list my sin.
Sure.
Okay. I go with
I let the weak get better of me.
and continue with the slicing.
Okay. Still need to make a stealth roll.
All right. And that was stealth 4,
+4.
right? Bum. 38?
Yeah. Wow.
He gives a little bit of a nod of respect, and off you go, and then holds out a dagger and to you.
The offering is extended to the others, and they are my property. They come with me. She says in Thavian, and they're Veriv.
He believes you for some bizarre, strange reason, is completely smitten by your authority, and pushes the two of you along roughly.
Go meekly.
All right.
Try.
Go meekly.
How far away is Jericho?
He's with me.
Jericho got booted
Oh.
Yeah.
along, yes.
It's
There's
Zaldor.
only one person currently left behind.
Then we're good.
Okay.
I mean, we're
good.
Stick
No,
with
we're good.
Yannick.
We're
He's
fine.
a wizard. He's fine.
Yeah.
You can fireball
He's
him.
tougher than he looks.
You, Zaldor, finally catch up with the rest of the group, having been beaten and punched for joy by the original guard, smacking and punching and kicking, unless you want to prevent that in behind the small guard building.
As poor as this deception is, there was some opportunities to perhaps escape, maybe even jump into some fire. Zaldor will just accept the beating
Okay.
instead and just be a humble old man.
All right. You take 12 points of bludgeoning damage, thinking he's beaten you within an inch of your life, not realizing how high level you are. And you catch up with your friends with a bloodied lip and a dusty wizard's hat. An arcane wizard's hat, to be more specific.
Your hat's a little rumpled. You all right?
Oh, yes. Yes, it's not entirely different. It reminds me of the time, actually.
Okay,
when I
you
went-
fine. Let's go.
I was kind of glad that they didn't cut my hand open because I was afraid what my blood might do with all that other blood, and if something might have jumped out and like tried to kill everybody in the whole city.
Would have been a great way to get through.
Except Galen and I would have been the closest.
Jericho, I apologize for gnome handling you.
Just reminded me of our childhood.
Alkanet is
it was
beginning
nice.
to wander into the crowd.
No.
But we did learn something interesting from this. They did not want his blood. So there is an aversion of some kind to fey blood. Don't know what that means, but it could prove useful.
Or just slaves.
Maybe because his blood has been tainted before and they can tell that.
Maybe.
I just smell bad.
Either way, we're through.
Give some thought to why they're so focused and afeared of the Fae here. Why they have attempted to stamp them out.
Oh, hey, Alkanet. What's up with them not liking Fae so much here? Was that true in your day?
The vile and cursed creatures.
Yeah, but what's the origin story?
Pixies
of
are the
that?
worst.
What's the was that what's true back in your day too?
Oh, yes.
Where did that come from? What's the origin of that?
It's too long a story. We have too much time. Or too little time. And too much story.
She casts the level 9 spell Defay. Make a 42 fortitude save.
Are we going to try to place this dagger first? I believe our new companion has ways to get about the city.
Let's see. Pulling out my scroll here. Step 1, get to the city. Check. Step 2, move around inside the city. Hey.
Check.
Check. And then step 3, get past the blood witches.
Oh, we're past this one. Check.
That's 1. Step 10 was help us to get a method to get past the blood witches.
Check.
He skipped like 4 through 9.
We need to come back to those. Step 10 was allowing us to get
Take care of
through
what we
step
can now.
I really feel like by the transitive property, if you've done 10, 4 through 9, I just assumed.
We must get past the blood witches, providing a blood sacrifice and or requesting forgiveness for a wrong.
Done.
I should have tried that. Maybe next time.
You know
Sure.
what? Give me a moment.
I can do better. I've rehearsed a bit.
All right.
Rugs!
It's this one again.
From now on, every time you panic with the deception, just shout rugs.
It's gonna work. One of these days, it'll be exactly what I need. Step 4 is to get past the Ash Queen. perhaps using the infighting of the Blood Witches. Step 5 was get to the Palace of the Ash Queen. The only instructions we have with that are good luck. Step 6, the Corruption Stone. There are 2 small medallions that we received from Solene to counter the corruption influence, but we want to destroy that one. Step 7 was the conjuration magic in the Northern Spire, whatever that one is. There's something being conjured up there. We do have step 8 of the Princess's Chamber that you just mentioned, Galen, to make sure we get the dagger in there. And step 9, how do you stay undetected when you're hunted by the Ash Queen?
Check. I feel we're like half done. I feel super good about this.
I love your glasses half full attitude.
So that takes us to next steps.
Let's head to the palace.
You are currently inside the city, big thoroughfares with very low, flat buildings that are made of packed mud with poles sticking out of the corners. There are simple connecting tents or even small lanes between buildings that have awnings and tent coverings over them entirely to keep out the sun, and it's choked with lots of people traveling. There's more than a scattering of people that are murmuring in prayer as they go along. You hear another big gong-like sound off in the distance, that ceremonial actually bell ringing way off in the distance. I also have a note here of a hero point needs to be given out. Derek, who's going to receive a hero point? You can do Christopher if you would like. Derek has chosen Alcanet as the recipient of an evil point.
Just stack them up.
And getting glares from Chris.
Getting everyone in.
As we walk and I got my little hood up, I am going to reach up and grab Galen's hand. And as I walk, I'm going to skip. And I am going to do all that I can to act as if I am Galen's little child.
Okay.
As we walk along with that hood up.
Talking in the same voice.
I'm gonna try to get
back and forth.
I'm gonna try to moderate to that human kind of voice. Get rid of a little bit of mine, but I'm just gonna go. Come along, Daddy. Let's go. Let's go.
Is that your human accent?
Yes. I'm trying to. I've never really
You had the
done
whole line to practice that.
I've never really done accents. This is hard.
Should have joined the church.
I should have joined a
It's
church.
not too late, Galen.
Should we deal with the corruption in the North Tower first, or go directly to the Queen's Tower?
What you can see, as I'm sure pointed out by Alcanet as you guys enter, is the Queen's Spire off in the distance ahead in the middle of the city. A dark castle surrounded by a sprawling city of low buildings and constant wind blasting red sand across it from time to time. The castle, known as the Queen's Spire, has 4 spires that stick out from it, surrounded by a big wall that you notice. As you go by bazaar after bazaar, markets, getting out of the way of wagons coming through, lots of traffic. You occasionally get a glance here and then for those of you that stand out more as human types, but that's not too much attention.
I'm gonna keep my eye out for any Yosoki.
Okay.
Yeah.
Does this castle appear changed much since the early days?
Yes, you can see the banner of the Ashen Queen flying as opposed to your banner that was on there centuries ago, which you were not too keen to see, but no additional construction. The city itself has a different vibe than you last saw. There's much more energy, much more trade, and while there is still this oppressive religiousness, it was way stronger of them showing homage to their goddess, the first queen, the Jagged Queen, which was you. So it is strange for you to be walking through kind of an echo, a louder echo of your former city where you were the one worshipped, and now you're hooded and being secretive.
Which is annoying as all hell.
Did you say you knew how to get into the big dark castle building?
There are ways, but one way. Maybe we find it.
Galen, you spot off in the distance, you guys are just meandering and walking through the crowd and chatting. You do spot a blacksmith and metalsmith hammering away at stuff, making weapons and stuff if you were interested in anything along those lines.
Are there signs about? Or are they just expecting people to know where to go?
For what?
For locations in the market or where
Arrow
certain
signs.
markets are. Or
No
anything
signs like that. You got to know the community.
Okay.
So Galen will do two things. So one, as we're walking along, seeing Jericho's portrayal as a child, he will be looking to see, is it common in this city to have children working in the shops? Right?
Yes.
Okay, so children are working. This is great. And then seeing the blacksmith, gentlemen, it shouldn't take too long. Give me a moment. I need to see about something. And Galen would like to go into the blacksmith shop.
Okay.
momentarily.
You go into there. You see a Thavian guy with strong arms, hammering away dents on a shield, and sees you come in. And he says,
Oh no.
Any chance you can converse in common, good friend?
oh, yes, common.
I appreciate it. What kind of weapons do you sell here?
We sell all kinds. Here, take a look at some of these. And he pulls back a cloth, trying to keep things kind of sand-free. And he has a big, long weapon rack with all sorts of different type of weapons.
All for
All
shards.
shards.
All very...
Yannick shoves Galen out of the way. My dream.
Starts rolling in the...
I think I just fasharded.
Maybe you can help me find something specific. I've noticed there's a type of sword that, particularly amongst the marshals in this area, the Queen's Guard, etc., it's kind of long and curved, rather sharp, about the same size as this longsword here, but has a very keen edge on it.
Like a fashard.
And what is the name of the weapon you're looking for?
It's a falcata.
Falcata.
Isn't that the luck dragon that was ridden in?
No, falcata is a desert style sword, I believe.
Long, almost like a
Falcor is what you're
scimitar kind of
thinking
thing.
of.
It actually looks
Yes.
a lot like that.
That blade he has in his
cool.
hands.
That's originally what Yannick wanted, but
He does have a falcata. It is an advanced weapon. Are you able to use advanced weapons?
Not yet.
Okay.
But this is something Galen would like to practice with. How
Okay.
much is it?
This will cost you a grand total of 4 gold. This is 4 gold, and I also have the ability to create and augment these weapons into different materials. I can make this out of silver. I can make this out of inlaid gold. It will take some time. I can make it out of many different metals.
Can you make it out of candy?
Quiet, child!
Okay, sorry, Daddy.
He comes over and pats you on your cloaked head. A very beautiful boy.
What about...
Do you want to buy them?
He's full sale if you want him.
He's still, got ropes around his wrist for some reason. It's an interesting way to carry a child around.
Jesus.
Can you make it out of cold iron?
Yes, I can.
What would that cost?
He looks
5
up in his
gold.
database.
1 million gold.
43 gold.
That's a lot more than
Little
4.
Jericho, I gave you your allowance this morning.
I'm gonna need that.
You feel kind of the reach up of a little tug, and there's
What
a
was
little coin belt right next. a little coin belt right up on the small of your back.
Galen will reach behind to take that, and
There's 51 gold in
a
it.
slight wink to Jericho. Thank you very much. I think we have a deal, sir. How long would it take to prepare this?
He says,
How does season 7 sound to you?
he says, 10 days.
Think we're going to be in the city for 10 days, gentlemen?
We are.
If we are, we will be dead.
We will be underground for most of that time because we will be dead.
There are blacksmiths elsewhere in the
there
world.
are blacksmiths elsewhere in the world. How about, do you have just a standard iron falcata ready to go?
Yes, I can arrange one. Just take me 20 minutes to have a boy go fetch it.
Then we have a deal, sir.
In 5 minutes, we're dead.
Gotta stay on the move.
All right, and he sends one of his young apprentice types to go run and get it, and he stops with the shield stuff and is also dealing with smelting of silver, so he's also dealing with metals in that regard, and he's keeping an eye on you, making sure there's nothing going on with his silver, it's there to steal.
While we're waiting, Yannick is going to go to a kind of a clothing or a cloak shop and get and try to interact to get a local Thavian cloak and, clothing to fit in and look more native to the town.
All right. Then, yes, you are able to find that. So the -2 Thavian disguise that you picked up is no longer a -2 from several adventures ago. That's in your backpack.
Uh-huh.
It is now in a straight 0.
Lovely. So I'm in Thavian disguise then.
And I believe we all are now. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Everyone had a Thavian disguise at -2 except for Hemlock and Galen. Theirs were straight 0s.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
Jericho, you have your coin purse back.
Okay.
No lighter
Empty.
than it was handed to me.
Some time comes back and he has the falchion.
The falcata.
Falcata. He hands it to you.
Alcor.
Thank you very much, sir. Looks like a fine weapon. Looking forward to
Come back anytime. And you hand over the gold and continue on.
Excellent. Where to, gentlemen?
To the queen!
Now, connect.
Yes,
You have shortcuts. The Queen's
Maybe.
Spire.
maybe.
No, maybe.
The city is big, much larger than back in the day.
Well,
You will remember.
take us to.
You will take us. It's been hundreds of years. Could be anywhere. Oh, look.
Enough with your equivocation.
It will take time. There are likely people here know from the old days how the city was built and where certain markets are. And from there, we may get lucky. Would Alcanet know from the position of the spires and get a generalized location to begin hunting this place? Or is the city just so massive it's just
Of where the Queen's Spire is?
of where the where she believes the entrances would be to gain
The secret entrances.
Entrances.
The
The whole reason why this bitch is with us.
Right.
Otherwise,
I need to practice.
Galen and I look at each other and like, we can if Alcanet has seen her purpose end,
You need to tell me what location you're looking for specifically.
Specifically,
Yes.
a
You
place
have,
that
you have notes.
a place specifically that I knew back in the day
Yes.
of the Market of Stars.
You know where that should be in relation to the Queen's Spire. Yes.
Begin making my way there.
All right.
However, in addition to that, I am trying to look out for existing members of the coven, either mine or people against,
Okay.
and avoiding the people against for obvious reasons.
All right.
Now, while Alcanet is doing that, Galen is trying to do the same thing so that we can avoid them.
That's what I said.
Well, I don't know if you're trying to avoid them or not. You seem rather eager to make friends or enemies.
So we are not moving? We are moving.
We are moving.
Then Alcanet,
leads the way
Okay.
I'm
at a
right
hearty pace for
behind
a
her.
woman. What?
Right behind you.
If you can be. She's quick. She's wily.
You all walk through the streets, making your way through the throngs of people. As you do, being led by Al-Kanet, you cross an area you are not too familiar with, O Jagged Witch. It is a raised platform of stone, about maybe 5 feet high and quite wide, maybe a football field in length, that's in the middle of the city area. And upon there are a bunch of people. Surrounding it, is a bunch of people looking up. On it are a bunch of people, maybe 30 everyday looking citizens of different high, low class types of dress and positions and all that. And they are all standing in some lines facing a central figure. The central figure is a feminine form, a blood witch. You are quite sure. Something might seem off about her. You can make a perception or occult or religion.
Any of us?
Her, Al-Kanet.
We wouldn't.
Okay. $40.
Okay.
Wow.
What roll
What?
was that?
18.
No, but what were you rolling?
Occult.
Wow.
I mean,
Seems like she should be
Seems
occulty.
okay.
With a 40, you sense something very specific. Number one, you are able to pick up, even amongst the sounds of the crowd, the people that are standing, the 30 or so people are not making any sound at all, but they are gently swaying. The crowd's excited and murmuring and talking. But there's another sound you can hear, and that is of a chanter. There is a male, almost monk-like figure who is knelt down beside this blood witch before these people, and he is just doing this droning, Zah, Ki, just these long sounds, which is creating a calming effect, almost sedating effect upon these people. With your 40, you recognize her not quite a blood witch. She is working her way up to becoming a blood witch, and yet she is surrounded by 3 different queen shades as well. These are the heavily red armored, dual-sworded guys off the back, kick-ass looking masked assassins and spies of the queen. They are surrounding this young blood witch, and instinctively looking at her, hearing her younger voice calling out to these people and casting some simple spells upon them, that she is, again, not quite a blood witch, as she is a part of the bloodline from the Ashen Queen herself.
She's the princess.
You also see, as this is going on, two men brought out, 2 Thavian guys who are dragged out that are also being numbed by this effect. Although no one else, you guys or anyone in the crowd watching, are. And Jericho, make a occult or performance roll, please.
Natural 1.
Okay, never mind.
You're not going to hero point that?
I would definitely hero point that.
Sure.
Cannot get worse than a
My
1.
team says to hero point that. Because I'm sure we'll... Okay. 25.
With a 25, you recognize this musical concept that this monk is doing, and you believe you have a shot. If you ever wanted to disrupt it, you could do the equivalent of an epic rap battle if you wanted to. So you recognize it's not just magic. There's a musical concept. You're like, ooh, I can kind of maybe jam to this a little bit if I wanted.
Okay.
Slaves are brought out and they are cut open by the Queen's shades. They are disemboweled. And as they do so, this young blood witch in training continues her chant and just submerges her hands in intestines and viscera, and then goes upon each person slowly and drawing a bloodline down their nose and then across their brow, slowly going through this long ceremony.
Does she seem comfortable with what she's doing?
Make a society or diplomacy.
I rolled a 2, so we're gonna just probably presume that that's not 14.
You have no idea. And that's what you guys see. Continuing on, I'm assuming, or you
You're not
guys...
going to use your hero point? We made Jericho use a hero point.
Well, it wasn't a natural one. It was just 2. And it was kind of a long shot, so it is towards the end of the night, but no. Continue.
All right. Continue on. You make your way closer to the dark castle in the central part of the city, where you arrive at the Market of Stars. This is a huge market that is still as familiar as you remember it, but at the same time different. It is still the great size. It is the biggest bazaar and market you guys have ever seen by far. It has an incredible amount of stalls and people selling and haggling. There's a fight that breaks out, and there's tons of guards in the area, and they whisk those people away, or just start punching them. They start Zandoring them off in the distance.
Look like they're getting a good Zandoring.
And there's also a huge tarp that's one piece magically reinforced and probably crafted that stretches over everything, keeping, again, the sun out and some of the sand. This massive market is quite shaded, and you guys all head into the area as the Jagged Witch Alcanet starts looking around confused and trying to find any kind of familiar landmarks.
Somewhere along the lines of what Yannick did, knowing that I just have a quick kind of rough cloak that's put over me. Some people have worn kind of things that are more wrapped around, kind of keeping all of the sand out. I'm just going to keep my eye open as we go for anything that might be more local and more wrap-up concealing that might be appropriate for me.
Okay.
As we go, as we move our way through the market.
All right. You find such a thing.
I would attempt to purchase it while using Yosoki.
All right. If
they don't use Yosoki, I would switch to common.
Yosoki does not work. Common doesn't work, but someone from the nearby stall comes in and is able to help you speak to that old lady. And for 3 silver, you get what you need.
All right.
So one more thing Galen would like to do is we're walking through this market. Anywhere there is oppression, there's likely to be resistance. And so Galen would like to be looking for anything that looks like, signs of a coordinated resistance, signals passing one to another, markings in certain stalls or walls, anything like that.
People drawing curves in the sand.
Right.
Make the ichthys.
Protest marches.
You're an ichthys.
Rocks!
Okay, yeah, you're doing that as well. And anything else you guys would like to do here?
Keeping a close eye on Alcanet.
Yeah.
I will still be doing
Hemlock is doing.
my new soul side. Just keeping them for weird things because I think that's cool and scary.
Are you just standing there watching Alcanet wander around?
I'm walking with Alcanet, being sort of a companion, but while suspicious companion to Alcanet.
Ever watch Cool Hand Luke?
Mm-hmm.
Been a while.
What we have here is a failure to communicate.
Galen, you're not seeing any signs of resistance, nothing overt, no French guy with the beret named Latrine or anything like that. But you're still keeping your eyes open.
Cool.
Hemlock, you see, not too far away, there is a raised wooden stage with several slaves being sold. One of which, there's maybe 6 of them. They tend to be more frail types, and they're not selling well, and the haggling's not going too well. One of which is the first time you have seen a fetchling in a long time. A fetchling, young lady, maybe 16 or 17 or so. She looks quite downtrodden. She's definitely been beaten, and she is manacled and barely clothed, and she's maybe the second next to be bid on and looks quite defeated.
Can you keep an? I go to Yannick and. Can you keep an eye on Alcanet? I gotta look at something real quick.
Alcanet is wandering away while you guys are.
I grab Alcanet by the hood.
Gotta see about a girl.
I'll keep both eyes on her.
Yannick
the
goes
whole
and
time.
gets a
long as I
baby
can
leash
spell.
with the little
Yeah.
vest thing.
I'm gonna put a little backpack with a little bungee harness on it.
And I wander up to the auction block.
I see what's going on, and Yannick will also hand over his 69 gold to Hemlock before he leaves, knowing that whether you may need this. If you do, use it. If you don't, great. Give it back.
Yeah, I wander up to the auction block.
Okay.
And see what's going on.
You wander up to the auction block, and there's an auctioneer who is yelling out in Thave and da 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 da, and pointing to this guy and all this language you don't understand and trying to sell. And there's a couple bored people, maybe 6 different people, and one guy makes a price, and they're going back and forth in their Simlish language that doesn't make sense to you, back and forth until they finally hand over some coins, and you see a coin price of 40 gold being paid for this frail-looking teenage guy. And then that guy takes him and yanks him roughly off, and off he goes to a life we'll never know.
Okay.
Cut 2.
It
Working
is
on the chain.
Then this fetchling young lady is brought forth, and he yanks her forward and starts. And there's a little bit more interest with 2 other fattish merchant guys that are making bids on her and
gross.
holding out their hands.
Zaldor starts walking up behind Hemlock and just standing behind your shoulder,
Yeah.
just to literally translate whatever words he's hearing and just saying out loud behind Hemlock's head.
All right. And she can cook and she can clean. She can work harder than you think she can. And she can draw the attention and enrage your eyes. And he tries to stir up more attention. And these 2 guys start a little bidding war. And they're going for 40. And then they're going for 45. And then there's 50.
I do 55.
You go 55. They all turn to look at you.
I'm getting close. It's here somewhere.
There is a 55 offer that is put out.
That's what I said.
Right.
Okay.
There's a 60 offer that is put out.
Zaldor's going to cast a spell
Oh, fuck.
over Hemlock's shoulder while the attention is up on...
Literally
The
3
girl?
people just buried their eyes in horror.
It's not a big spell.
Just curious, how much distance is there
Fireball.
between the guard, the elite guard that we were, and the auction podium?
The ceremony area.
Yes, the ceremony.
That's maybe a quarter mile away.
Okay.
Zaldor's going to use a cantrip and cast Daze
Okay.
on the first person who just outbid Hemlock.
I mean, I could have just given him 30 more gold, but cool.
Well,
Cool.
Also,
Yeah, let's risk
I
it
don't
all.
know if winning this auction is going to be great because then it's a
Yeah, you got
poses another problem.
fletchling
you'll-
hanging around.
You'll be owning a fletchling.
I don't.
All right. So casting a spell, just so you know, is going to involve a lot of hand waving and flapping
Yeah,
and
I
stuff.
like tap your leg and like give you a no.
I got a really good flourish for this one.
Don't do it.
Okay. Disrupted by my concentration spell by Hemlock, of all things, Zaldor huffs.
Does Zaldor? Oh, it's a cantrip. I was going to ask if you lost the spell slot, but
No.
that's right.
The next time
I'll
he
let the
next time he goes to shoot, you just knock his gun out.
I'll let the
Don't
auction go on until someone wins. I don't bid anymore.
Okay, you stop bidding, and the auction is run at 80 gold. And this gross-looking dude is so excited and hands over his coins. Alkanet's laughing off in the distance, and the young lady is yanked by him, and he looks quite intrigued by her exoticness, being a fetchling.
I go up to him and have Zaldor come with me.
Okay.
I'm like, can you translate for me?
Yes, I can.
I'm not with them, but I'm watching the interaction.
I'm wherever my dad is.
Yep. I got
should go
Jericho
help
by
them.
the hand.
That's a
They're going to be in trouble.
All right, you walk
They're
up
going
to this
get
guy.
in trouble, and it'll be your fault.
He
Fine.
turns around, is ready to leave, and
What
you're right
you're
there.
looking
yeah, and I
for.
talk to him in common first,
Now.
and if he doesn't understand, then I'll motion for Zaldor to translate.
Okay.
That's a good win. You just got there.
What do you say?
Well traded with animosity.
He says, you are a little slow and you a little cheap. This is quite the treasure.
He says that I'm cheap
Very good.
and a little slow.
It's my name is Pancho, the Pistolero, and I kind of like let some of my guns be seen.
Okay.
Pistolero a la Pancho-y, a la Confor.
And who?
He doesn't actually speak the language, does he, Alkanet?
He just has a great
It's been
deception.
gibberish the whole time.
Who are you?
I have a name. My mouse is...
Con queso.
Queso door.
He says, you can tell him my name is Zarak. I deal with a little establishment not too far away. If he'd like to see more of her, I can make that available. It's a place to relax and enjoy some good food and wine.
He has wine. It sounds lovely.
What's the name of the establishment?
Zorax.
Does the place have a name? Is it just Zorax?
He says it's Zarax it is. It's the blue tent at the far end between those two alleys over there.
You should put up a sign that says Zorax. It would draw more people into it. It would create interest.
He didn't say that.
It's a long translation.
It's called fetching fletchings. Or fetchlings.
You could just have that for free, really. It's a good idea.
That's really good.
Alkanet wanders away some more.
No.
She drops her pun bombs and walks away.
Deal with this.
I'm like, I might do that. And then I turn around, but I try to catch her eye as I do it.
Okay. You can catch her eye, but you are highly disguised, if I remember correctly.
Yeah,
Okay.
And she thinks you're a creep.
that's fine.
All right. You do catch her eye, but she pays you no heed. She's just looking down and
And I
just glancing,
slip-
looks at you.
20 gold into her pocket.
Jesus.
Okay. She looks.
And I want her to know what I did, but not this fuckhead. to
Oh,
know.
all right. Make a thievery to anti-pickpocket.
25.
But I'm not wearing anything.
You are able to slip some coins into a pocket equivalent on her, and she confusedly looks down and sees, and then looks surprised. But the guy's paying attention as he's dragging her. She drags her
And
through
I-
the crowd, and before she disappears, she looks back over her shoulder
And I
at you.
give her a smile.
Okay. She looks.
Not like a creepy smile, but like
Make a
How you
diplomacy
doing?
roll.
see you again.
You do this.
Get a natural one.
There's a 3. I'm going to use a hero point.
Hero point for love. You should drag and roll
It's
that.
a 2 of 5.
You give her a snaggletooth, drooling smile, and she's like, "Oh God, it's gonna be the worst day of my life."
This guy just made a 20 gold down payment on me.
It's a little Joey Tribbiani, how you doing? Kind of look, how you doing? Hey.
But more
God
creepy.
damn it.
She drops
The
the
dice
gold.
never lie, Seth.
And she disappears so confused into the crowd.
So far for the episode.
Only
that's-
better, I would draw a connection here to the natural one rolled for the threesome thing. So
Yeah. I go back and find Yannick and Alkanet. I give Yannick back all of his gold.
Okay.
except for 20.
Nope. I give a bell back to him.
Anything else that's going on while this is happening?
I think we've done enough.
We've accomplished so little in so much time.
Yeah, but Chris
And
wants to.
almost gotten ourselves
Chris
captured.
wants to get past the most dangerous part of the adventure.
Yeah,
the
where
open market.
where we're just seemingly screwing around, doing anything we can to draw attention to ourselves.
Because we've just been standing here and because of the concerns that others had that Jericho didn't particularly share, but he will be taking this time where he and Galen are just mostly just standing still, just kind of cautiously looking around to see if anyone's paying extra undue attention to him or him and Galen.
Okay. Not particularly.
Okay.
It seems to be working. All right. Alkanet is zeroed in on a spot. You have found a stall that has a big, heavy old door on top of it with a big rug on top of that, and they're selling a whole bunch of lamps, oil lamps.
Rugs!
And you know that exactly where that's at, and you kind of look underneath is an old well that at the bottom of is the entrance that you seek.
Someone put a rug over a well.
They put a door
Oh, okay,
on
just-
top
just
with a
wanna make
rug on top, and they're using it as a platform to sell.
Is there anybody currently in this shop?
It's not a shop; it's just that door outside, and there is a aggressive-looking young Thavian woman who's there, and she says, "You will buy. I've got great lamps. You will buy."
I have a great desire to kill her.
No.
Blood.
No.
Blood. It's
No.
all I ask.
Quiet.
You'll see.
Then you will need to get rid of her. She will give us all away. The best way is silence. Her silence is guaranteed through one way.
Asking her to be quiet.
I know. But right now I need your silence.
So her,
Run away, woman.
She says in Thavian in a threatening tone.
Oh. Making a... No, there's no... Nope, she doesn't care. No, shoot. You are the freaking Jagged Queen. Make a, intimidation roll.
1 second.
Hold. Your target number is going to be
40.
a 29.
That's really high.
Wow.
It's probably a plus 20.
Yeah,
or
he's probably
something.
going to roll a 45 here.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Intimidation.
I'm just going to roll mine, see what I get.
Boink. 27.
Okay.
Not going to use a hero point?
No.
She says, no, I'm selling. You buy or you go away.
You need to be done with her.
This one burns a long
Draw her
time.
blood.
This one's pretty.
Silence.
Hemlock will go up and distract her
How?
by being interested in like what she's selling. Like,
Okay.
oh, let me look at this one, and like, you know, kind of get her attention away from the rest of the group.
All right. She snaps her fingers, and a young brother type comes around and is getting behind you in case you try and run off with the goods.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not trying
Right.
to steal anything. I'm
he's
just
saying-
like, let me look at this one, and then let me look at this one, and I keep like getting her attention further away from this door.
Alkanet kicks at the rug, kicks the door, and begins to descend if she can.
All right, Alkanet kicks
We're
over.
going to wait. Before Alkanet's allowed to do anything, we're going to wait. It would be at a time that, if that were to happen, it would be when I think Yannick and crew would believe that it would be safe to do so and not at her discretion, but at ours. As defining as safe to do so.
Make a reflex roll and add the DC is 10 plus your reflex.
10 plus my reflex.
Yes, and Yannick's going to roll it.
Good luck.
She goes to kick. You're able to reach out and stop.
I'm going to use a hero point. Good thing I saved it because I rolled a 5. I'm going to pull different die out.
Oh.
I'll roll 6. So plus what? Plus my reflex?
Plus your reflex, yes.
18.
18. Is that higher than your reflex plus 10?
My reflex plus 10, no.
Okay. You are able to get your old lady leg out from betwixt your robe and kick, and it's quite hairy, it's been a while, and kick the door that's on top of the well, and it goes flying over, and just tons of these brass shiny lamps go flying through the air, and the merchant lady just starts screaming, "What are you doing, old hag?" and comes running over.
Alkanet's head pokes out. You should kill her. And
I will
sends
yank Alkanet away from that scenario, and we're going to start to walk away because we've drawn way too much attention, and anything out of Alkanet, she's getting shaken.
Okay.
Are the merchants speaking common or are they speaking Verev?
They're speaking Verev. And so when the door's kicked, you see there's this old, dusty, not dusty, but musty well that descends
We cannot
down.
draw attention to ourselves like that, you fool.
It wouldn't be attention if she's alive. It's just 2. It's no big deal.
And she gets shaken roughly.
All right. You are shaken roughly.
What
You are
happens?
also attacked relentlessly by the young boy of maybe age 11 who was kicking at your shins repeatedly. How dare you do that? How dare you? You're trying to steal and you're trying to ruin and you're trying to
I would be also trying to keep them separate, knowing that that child has no idea what the hell he's in for.
Jericho, grab the
So
child.
as I'm shaking Alkanet, I swing her around and gently push the child away,
That
hoping
really
I
seems
get
like a
some
daddy thing to
assistance
do.
here as I continue to walk away with Alkanet.
All right, so Yannick is backing away, pushing pushing Alkanet backwards while holding back the child, and the child's continuing to come at you, Yannick.
Galen will step in if nobody else is and try to create distance between the two of them and try to hold the child back gently.
And while that's happening, Hemlock will hold up 5 gold to the old woman.
Young woman.
The young woman that's
Man!
manning the song.
No one's even there.
Young
I'm not
fetchling
even
woman.
that old.
Like, hold out 5 gold and
Okay.
be like,
Did
All
the
right.
child
Like nothing
injure
ever happened.
Alkanet?
yeah.
All
Let's
right,
still want this land.
hold on. What was your question?
Did the child injure Alkanet?
No.
Okay.
All right, you hold out 5 gold. She stops her yelling and looks at you and snatches up the gold and starts reprimanding you in Thave that you don't quite understand,
and I'm
wagging her
just
finger.
Like, I'm sorry. I'm very, very sorry.
And then she yells at her younger brother, and he comes running back, spitting accurately between the armored legs of Yannick onto the old multi-century robe of the Jagged Queen. He spits on your robe and then returns back and starts picking up all these pieces.
Alkanet kicks one of them if she can.
You do. And Yannick, you've got her pulled away from that scene. Several guards from the city are making their way over slowly.
Why do you stop me? We're so close.
We need to move.
We
Now,
need to get
Yeah.
down there right now.
Yes. Yes. We need to get down there right now.
How do we do so without having the entire
Kill them.
see it?
Kill them
Jump
all.
down there right
There's
now.
only 4
I'll
now.
replace the door.
Is there actually a clear path in where like nobody would see us?
no, the well is
Yeah.
right there, and they're just about ready to lift the door back onto this well.
Okay, but how many people are actually like they're invisible?
Watching?
Yeah.
Probably 30.
Okay, do we think just jumping into this well with 30 people standing around is going to net us what we're hoping for?
Missed. With a flourish, while everyone's distracted by lamps and gold, mist starts pouring out from underneath the robes of Zaldor.
Old man mist.
It's a 20-foot burst of mist all around us,
So it's
creating
refried beans.
concealment and hiding all around us, allowing us to move now.
Yep.
A great mist appears, and people are confused, and there's murmuring, and there's just shadowy fog everywhere.
Go, go, go.
Yep.
And who was it who spit at me?
No.
A young 11-year-old
Get him
boy
down there.
who
Yeah.
you are
Yannick.
getting very close to next to the well before you
Throw
go
her
in.
down
Yeah.
the well.
What do you do, Alkanet?
Going to be casting a focus spell.
Okay.
Now she is grabbed, and like if I see it, I will do everything I can to disrupt that, as I am physically holding her at the moment.
Make a perception 24, and you can notice her casting a spell because of the fog.
Natural 20.
Okay.
Now,
It sure is.
if you,
Oh my God.
Galen is on edge and you know this, one word, say the word, her hand comes off.
Just get her down there. I will go last. Get down there.
Yeah, and that's, I mean, Yannick is moving her as quickly as he can himself move
right.
her
I'm
down.
gonna go scramble down ahead of all of them because I'm not carrying anyone, casting any spells, or arguing with anyone, and I didn't run anywhere. I'm just. Bleep, bleep.
All right, down the well, you see there are cuts in the stone that are hard to find, but they're like ladder-like grooves in that you can make your way down, and some protrusions as well, but a lot of those have been worn down. Alkanet, you are not able to complete your spell at all.
Okay.
Okay. You are forced towards this well amongst the fog. What are you doing?
I'm being forced towards the well.
Yes.
I go into the well.
Okay, you go into the well, and the rest of the group follows, yes?
Hemlock will go last, and as he does, he'll move
5
the
more
door.
gold.
He'll move the door over the well.
Okay. As the fog fades, there's like a couple little lamps being put into place. And the group descends down into this well that is maybe 150 yards away from this dark, evil castle known as the Queen's Spire, their ultimate destination. And we will stop there for tonight. Thanks so much for joining us. The adventure in Thave continues, and we'll see what happens next when we come back soon. We'll see you then.
Bye, everyone.
Goodbye.